They fired me for my sister, while I was secretly signing the deal to buy their entire company. I was still holding the office keys when they told me I didn't belong there anymore. My own father, my uncle, and my cousin sat across the long mahogany table, ice cold, like they weren't kicking their own blood out of a company I helped build. And the reason? Your sister just needs this more, Sophia, my father had said, avoiding my eyes like I was a stranger. I wanted to scream, not because they chose her, but because they thought I was nothing without them. If you've ever been underestimated, betrayed, or replaced, like this story, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to see what quiet revenge looks like. I kept my lips sealed that day. Not a single tear, not a single protest. Just silence, and one look that made my sister, Danielle, smirk like she'd won something. What she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that while they were busy playing favorites, I was building something 10 times bigger. Behind their backs, they thought I was just doing data entry and making coffee runs. They never noticed I stopped clocking in from my desk months ago. I was out meeting investors, engineers, and former clients who were tired of being ripped off by my family's outdated systems. I'd built a new platform, one they laughed at when I first pitched it. Now, that very platform had just closed a $5 million round of funding. And guess who their biggest competitor was about to be? The day they threw me out, Danielle took my old seat in the office like it was a throne. She changed my nameplate within hours, posted photos of her new era on LinkedIn, and even dared to caption it, "Some of us are built to lead. Others, not so much." It went viral. People laughed in the comments. My former coworkers hearted it. And I just smiled, because the ink on the acquisition contract was drying in my bag. They thought they buried me. They didn't know I was already running the company that was about to own theirs, but I wasn't done yet. Not even close. The boardroom fell silent the moment I walked in. Danielle's voice caught mid-sentence, and my father's pen froze above his notepad. My uncle, Richard, squinted like he couldn't believe it was really me standing there. In a tailored suit, holding a folder thicker than their lies. Who let her in? Danielle snapped, half rising from the chair she stole from me. I didn't flinch. I walked straight to the head of the table, my place now, and laid the folder down gently. "This," I said calmly, "isn't a courtesy visit. This is a notice of ownership transfer. As of this morning, Novate is under the control of Luma Corporation." I looked directly at my father. "And I own 87% of Luma." Danielle laughed like it was a joke. "You bought Novate? That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money." "I didn't. Not back when you fired me." I leaned forward. "But the girl you kicked out? She didn't cry. She built." In silence. "While you were busy playing princess, I was building the empire you pretended to run." My uncle snatched the folder and began flipping through the pages like his life depended on it. His hands started shaking. This isn't legal. This can't be." "Page 14, I said, leaning against the table, calm and collected. "That's where your old partner, Mr. Lanford, signed over his shares last month. He was tired of watching this company sink under your leadership." The room was cracking. My father's face had turned pale. Danielle had gone silent. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't begging for their approval, they were begging for clarity. "Why?" my father finally whispered. "Why would you do this to us?" I smiled, but it wasn't out of spite. It was survival. "Because you taught me that family can be the first ones to break you. And I needed to show you I'd never let that happen again." Danielle lunged forward. "You can't do this. You're not ready for this kind of power, Sophia. You've always been weak." "I was weak," I said. "When I needed your love. When I believed your lies. When I thought you'd be proud of me if I worked hard enough. But now? I've got a team. A vision. And you've got 90 days to vacate this building." Her face fell like glass. Shattered, and just when I thought the humiliation had peaked, a knock at the door changed everything. Danielle's jaw dropped. "Fiancé?" My father's brows shot up like he'd just heard thunder in a church. "Investor and fiancé? Since when?" I turned slowly, already knowing who was about to walk through that door, and enjoying every second of their confusion. The door creaked open, and there he was. Caleb Monroe. Tech mogul. Former competitor. Now silent partner in Luma Corp. And yes, my fiancé. Caleb walked in like he owned the room, because technically, with me, he did. Morning, everyone, he said with a grin that could cut steel. Hope I'm not interrupting. I just came to make sure the transition was going smoothly. Sophia doesn't like loose ends. Danielle blinked rapidly. Wait, that's Caleb Monroe? The same guy you used to intern for? Caleb looked at her like she was invisible. She didn't just intern. She rebuilt my back-end systems, saved my company from collapse, and then turned down a $2 million salary to chase her own dream. Which I now fully fund, by the way. The silence in the room was delicious. My father finally stood, but he looked smaller now, like someone who realized too late what they'd thrown away. Sophia, why didn't you ever tell us? I didn't answer right away. I just let him sit with that sting for a moment. Then I said, because I was done telling you things you never cared to hear. I stopped asking for space at your table the day you gave my chair away. Danielle's eyes were glassy now. So you're just here to take it all? You're getting revenge? I locked eyes with her. No. I'm just here to take back what I earned. The revenge? That's just a bonus. Caleb tossed a slim flash drive onto the table. On that is the new board structure. You'll see none of your names are on it. Also, FYI, we're rebranding. Novate is now Sophia Systems. My uncle practically choked. Sophia? That sounds ridiculous. Yeah? I smirked. It's already trending. I turned toward the window, watching as the new company logo was being unveiled outside, workers pulling down the Novate banner and replacing it with the sleek silver and black logo of Sophia. But just as I was about to leave that boardroom, forever, Danielle said something that made me pause. This isn't over, Sophia. You may think you've won, but I still have something you don't. I turned slowly. What's that? She held up her phone. Proof. And a name you never expected to hear. Logan Pierce. The name hit me like a punch to the chest. My heart stuttered. Caleb's eyes narrowed. My fingers twitched, instinctively curling into fists I didn't want them to see. Danielle grinned like she'd found my pressure point, and she had. Yeah, she said, waving her phone like a trophy. Thought I didn't know? You really think you can erase the past that easily? Caleb stepped forward. What is this, Danielle? Some bluff? Oh, it's real, she said sweetly. Logan Pierce, Sophia's ex-partner. The one who helped her start the prototype for her platform. The one who suddenly disappeared. The one who signed over his shares right before the money rolled in. My mouth was dry, but I kept my face still. I had buried that secret so deep, not even Caleb knew the full truth. Logan was part of the original idea. We built the bones of the software together in my apartment. But then he got greedy. Tried to steal the code and sell it. I shut him out. Bought him out quietly. Covered it all with airtight NDAs, but apparently, not airtight enough. Danielle leaned in, her voice laced with venom. Logan's ready to talk. He wants his piece back. And I promised I'd help him, for a small cut. Caleb looked at me, his tone careful. Sophia? Is there anything she's saying that's true? I didn't blink. Some of it. Twisted. Dirty. But yeah, Logan helped in the beginning. And then he tried to steal everything from me. I gave him money to disappear. Danielle interrupted. But now he wants justice. And if this goes public, you lose investors, you lose credibility. You lose everything you just built. She thought she had me cornered. Thought one ghost from my past could collapse my entire empire. But I wasn't the girl who used to cry behind her keyboard anymore. I took a deep breath. Good, I said. Danielle blinked. Good. Let him come, I said coldly. Let him talk. I've got proof of every transaction. Emails. Security logs. Even footage of the day he tried to hack my system. He won't destroy me, he'll destroy himself. I turned to Caleb. You trust me? He didn't hesitate. Always. Danielle's face was starting to crack now, and I knew why. She had bet everything on Logan being the final card. But I'd played a longer game, then I dropped the bomb. You thought Logan was a threat? He's not. But you are. So starting tomorrow, you're officially under investigation for corporate espionage. Her face went white. I've been tracking your messages, Danielle. I saw the files you leaked. I've got copies. You thought you were hunting me. But I was 10 steps ahead, waiting for you to fall into your own trap. Caleb turned his phone around, and the screen played a silent video, grainy security footage of Danielle late at night in the office, plugging a drive into a confidential server, then emailing files from her personal Gmail. Her mouth fell open. That's edited. You can't use that, it's not just footage, Caleb said calmly. It's metadata. Timestamped access logs. File trails. Every click you made, every document you forwarded. All tied to your credentials. My father slumped back in his chair, looking older than I'd ever seen him. Danielle, please tell me this isn't true. But she said nothing. Her silence screamed louder than words. I took a slow step forward. You didn't just try to destroy me, Danielle. You compromised the company, our clients, and your own future. I gave you the benefit of the doubt. You gave me betrayal. She looked at my father like a desperate child. Dad, say something. But for once, he didn't protect her. Instead, he turned to me. Sophia, if there's anything left I can say, I cut him off. There's not. You made your choice when you replaced me without hesitation. And now, you'll live with it. Caleb looked at me and asked, ready to finish this? I nodded. He walked over and handed my uncle a document, an official restraining order, barring Danielle from the premises. Then another, a legal agreement for full ownership. Transfer, signed and sealed. As security entered the room to escort Danielle out, she thrashed in disbelief. You can't do this to me. I was the face of this company. No, I said softly. You were a mask. And masks fall off. She was dragged out, screaming threats no one believed anymore. My father looked at me one last time, eyes filled with regret. Sophia. I'm sorry. I truly am. I stared at him. Not with anger. Not with love. Just clarity. You didn't just lose a daughter, I said. You lost the future. And I walked out of that boardroom, not as the girl they underestimated, but as the woman who built an empire out of betrayal. Outside, the new company banner fluttered in the wind. Sophia Systems, sleek, powerful, untouchable. Reporters were waiting. Cameras flashing. Investors cheering. And somewhere in that crowd, Logan Pierce watched from a distance. But he didn't dare step forward. Not anymore. I stepped up to the mic, smiled. To everyone who ever doubted me, I said, thank you. You built this as much as I did. Because revenge wasn't the goal. Power wasn't either. What I really wanted was freedom. And I finally owned it.